And before introducing them, let me remind the guests that each speaker has 5 minutes for the individual presentation. So then we can have time for a conversation that will revolve around some specific question on our topic. So, and we also strongly encourage the audience to post their question in the chat so we can have them flowing in the conversation. I will leave you now with Lara. She will be presenting the first speaker.
Yes. So I would like Sebastián to speak first. To introduce him, he's a graphic designer specialized in design for foreign trade. He works at the Undersecretary of Small and Medium Enterprises of the Ministry of Economy in Argentina, and he's working as a coordinator of the internationalization of enterprises there. He also works as a professor at Buenos Aires University and at the Faculty of Architecture, Planning and Design from the National University of Rosario of Argentina. I would like if Sebastián, please, could you share with us your work regarding, the relationship between academia and entrepreneurship?
Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Sol. It's a pleasure to be here. I think that the academic development and economic development are case element for social development, of course, but must go hand in hand. Something that does not happen always. For example, here in Argentina, we have a very high level in educational and scientific framework, which gives it a competitive advantage value by all national productive sectors, but we have certain difficulties in economic aspect sometimes, which has been a limit in that development. In the extreme, that make the call brain drain or fuga de cerebros in Spanish, that occur in a lot of moments, that our structure for making innovation is break, and that the capitalizing the country's experience and investment in education, of course. This development occurs though a synergy of three sectors. For me, not only two: the academic sector, the private sector, and the public sector. If we analyze the cases of social periods with productive innovation in different parts of the history of the world, such as the Weimar Republic in 1920s, United States in 50s, Korea in the beginning of this millennial, and Argentina in the 80s, in the 60s, sorry. The dynamic between academia, production, and state were high complemented. For example, the synergy in the 60s in the development of the Argentina innovation occurred due to the articulation between the first design careers that happened here in Cuyo, in La Plata, and in Rosario, public policies that promote industrial development, such the creation of INTI, the CD, among others, and growth of companies like Siam, like Atma, that demand more design and improve their productivity, as well as professional designers that provide design services like Tomás Maldonado, Blanco, Leiro, Méndez Mosquera, among others. I think it's three factors are in all that cases case basically.
Okay, thank you, Sebastián. That was great to know the dynamics of those three factors. Maybe we can go now with Fernanda. Sol, could you introduce her, please?
Yeah, so welcome, Fernanda. Fernanda Figueroa is a specialist in sustainable business models, entrepreneurship, and social innovation for the circular economy, and triple impact social companies with purpose. She's also a professor and researcher in sustainable business in the Universidad Austral Argentina. So thank you, Fernanda.
Thank you all. Thank you, Sebastián. We meet here again another year, and I think I know Juliana also. We met at Egos. I don't know if Sarah, you speak Spanish or you speak English, because I think we all speak Spanish.
Hablo español, pero no
okay.
no es.
If I speak in Spanish, you don't understand. I will speak in English for you.
Muchas gracias.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, well, I'm going to share some reflections about the work we have been doing at the Universidad Austral regarding entrepreneurship and sustainable education. We have a wide range of experiences, both in the undergraduate and postgraduate levels. So I just want to share some positive achievements we have and some challenges we are facing. So I really appreciate the macro view Sebastián gave us, but I'm gonna do something more direct about my own experience. So I hope it helps to the debate of this group. So regarding the achievements between academia and entrepreneurship, I have the experience of some programs regarding innovation and circular economy. This is the 4th year we have been running this postgraduate program. It's an interdisciplinary initiative that involves collaboration among professors from various faculties: business faculty, engineering, design, law, public policy. So it's a huge challenge for the university itself. But the students have received it very well. But here we analyze different entrepreneurs, different business cases, most of them from entrepreneurs from Latin America, and we analyze them for these different perspectives. It's a challenge to establish a mutual beneficial collaboration with these enterprises. I think it's fundamental to have these cases, and the entrepreneurs can share their experiences in these programs, because the challenges they face are very particular in Latin America when they want, for example, in this case, implement circular economy strategies or do a business model from scratch of circular economy. It's very difficult in Latin America, and they have their own barriers. So I think it's very valuable to have this connection between the university and the entrepreneurs, but it's not so easy to establish a mutual beneficial collaboration. We try to avoid the extractivist attitude towards entrepreneurs, because we understand that they have a limited time. So, I mean, the experience we have, for example, with Animaná and Hecho por Nosotros, that we have been collaborating from a long time. For example, we have a framework agreement with entrepreneurs to collaborate on different training programs, but also in research programs. And the thing we did last year with Animaná and Hecho por Nosotros, we published a business case about Animaná and Hecho por Nosotros in a book about sustainability development goals, and also about circular economy strategies. And it was a very nice experience, because people from this enterprise co-authored with me, that is the researcher. So we co-write the article, and it was a very nice experience, because we could generate knowledge, but from the entrepreneur's perspective. And also for Animaná, it helps them to gain recognition and disseminate their model to all the people that read this research, this book chapter, no? But I think we have some challenges remaining. One is to generate more meaningful engagements or participate more from the university in the transfers of the knowledge to real transformation. So far, we are transforming mindsets of our students, and we hope that they will later transform their environments, no? But we have some projects to create sustainable entrepreneurship hubs where we can, from the professors that, for example, I've been researching and teaching of sustainability since a long time, but I remain in academia, so it's not so easy for me to translate all this knowledge in real transformation. So we are thinking about this, but we have not yet implemented. And also another challenge we have, for example, I talk from my experience in the business faculty of a private university in Argentina. We have like a kind of, I don't know how to say it in English, but a sesgo. I don't remember how to say it, but
bias.
A bias, yeah, thank you. So we are very concentrated on the corporate model, you know, to teach business, taking the point of view of the corporation, and we don't usually evaluate very positively the grassroots entrepreneurship. And I think in Latin America, especially, the social and popular economy is so significant that we have to learn to show these cases in a more positive way, and also the multi-stakeholders management between big corporations and these kind of organizations. So, well, that's some of the reflections I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Fernanda. That was really interesting. I invite Juliana and Sara, if you have particular questions, you can say it. We have time, or you can write it down. If not, I have a particular question, but I would leave you first if you want to ask something, and if not, okay. So I will go ahead. I was wondering if you think the businesses have a more like a motivation to act towards systemic change and being more like responsible with sustainability because they're like, because they have like a true motivation, like they actually want to support the systemic change, or it is more like actions regarding greenwashing and maybe marketing policies. Do you see like a tendency going for a more profound motivation, or is it more like a profit thing?
Well, I think I would talk, but of course, Sebastián, you can also answer.
Yes, both of you.
I think it's a very good question, Lara. It's difficult to know real motivations, you know. For example, in research that I do a lot, I try to not to talk about motivations because it's very difficult to really grasp. You can see it in the different strategies organizations have, if they are aligned or not, or they are just pop-up strategies and then they forget about it. So I think nowadays corporations are more pressured to do it. I think it's pressure from the outside, from the culture, from the citizens, from the customers, from the governments. But you have some corporations that do it with real motivation. You can realize if they are really, if they have strategies that are continuum in time, and also regarding if they consider sustainability in their core business or not. I think that makes a lot of difference for me. I don't know.
Thank you. That's
I agree absolutely. I think that not only is 100% for one reason. It's a mixture of reasons, of course, and I think that it's impossible to change the world for one picking strategy. Of course, the system is a big sorry.
A big monster.
Yeah, basically. But I think that, in other hand, a lot of companies are changing your business model through the triple impact strategies, because the sustainability is inevitable. A few times, one big company who makes accessories, global company, her CEO tell me that he are changing our model of production for more sustainability, not for the demand, for the strategy of the future of the world, basically. But her company, her competencia, how do you say competencia? Her
competition or competence?
Yes, competence. Her the other companies didn't make the same, and it's impossible if that don't have a regulation, has a complement strategies. The change is impossible for only one peak.
Great, thank you, Sebastián. That was really insightful. Juliana, yes, please.
Hello, everyone. I work with community entrepreneurships in favelas of Rio de Janeiro, and also with some community starting to develop community enterprises from Mozambique. And the thing that we found that, and I'm working in Nottingham Trent University in England, yes, so there is different funding models, and we have different capacity in terms of relations with these communities, But one of the things that we found within a community enterprise is that maybe the people that we are working with, they don't necessarily want to align with corporates. They don't necessarily want you to go and do some businesses with a private business, because they know the effects that they have done before, so the damages that they have bring the big corporates. Also because if they do it with them, they take ownership of their initiatives, and also the freedom of doing what they want. Even some of these community entrepreneurs are also trying not to work with NGOs, because they are thinking that there is a problem of autonomy of what they wanted to do, and how they really wanted to know how this money is being funding. They also challenge us in terms of how much money we receive as a researcher, and how much money they can receive when we are doing projects together. So there is a kind of that communities or community enterprises that are kind of tired of being over-researched, so it's difficult sometimes to access to them, and it's all, maybe what Fernanda was saying, is a collaboration that you do over time. So for example, the project with the favelas in Rio it's an observatory that has been working there for more than 15 years. So it's the kind of that you build the trust of the communities in order to create these projects. And this is also linked in terms of project with the universities, because it's not as a one-off things, like you put a student into a project, and then next year you're gonna put another one, and there is no continuation. Whereas what they're asking is just to have this more, sustainable way of relationship that is this over time and not a one-off.
That's really good, Juliana. Thank you. Could you share the projects on the chat, because I want to search for them afterwards. Okay. Same for the rest of the participants. If you have a project you want to share, it will be great to have it from the chat. Yes.
Let me try to do something from here, but yeah, I'll try.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank
Very
you.
interesting, Juliana. So you are doing with your university in in Brazil and also in Mozambique, and you have students collaborating with these grassroots organizations. That's, I understood well or not?
Okay, what happened is that the projects of, for example, of Rio de Janeiro, we also place students from Brazil, not from the UK, you know, because we don't think it's right. So what we do is, as a UK university, bring the funding to provide a platform for projects. Yes, but usually because we work with Rio, with the University of Rio in Brazil, so we have the links with them. So the students are provided from Rio, not from the UK. Because I don't think it is also right to do that, you know, to, you know, take the, you know, I don't think, because it doesn't create a sustainable relationship, because, you know, bring it from the UK is a one-off project again, you know, so we try to build something. And to be honest, what we are doing another project at the moment in where the people from the community entrepreneurs from favelas are the ones who are giving lectures into the university. So it is.
That's perfect.
So it is different.
Very interesting.
And now what we're doing is, so they're doing it in Rio, which is easy with in terms of language, but now we're doing also in a secondary school here in the UK. And we have this issue of language, but what we do as the university is just to pay for simultaneous translation and all these things. And so there is at the secondary school, there is, you know, one of the topics in geography is about favelas. So what we're doing is we bring in community entrepreneurs who are live from Rio favelas, who are teaching students from the UK about what does it mean a favela, what does it mean to live in the favelas, and all these things, you know. So
very interesting.
Yeah, we are doing it the other way around.
That's great.
Yeah, super interesting, Juliana, your experience. So I have one specific question for the three of them. Let's invite Juliana just to answer it, because from my point of view, I think there's a tendency now that all the entrepreneurships are like trying to networking with universities in putting the model together. There was a time that the university runs in a way, and then the business and entrepreneurship runs in the other. And now I think everyone is changing the mindset and learning how to make this relationship work for both sides, not only in the academic programs, but also like in all the outreach activities in the universities. But I would like to know your thoughts on that.
I mean, I can say something quickly, you know, we've been challenged by community entrepreneurs, you know, they think, you know, and this is one of the things that we are working forward is, you know, because we don't want to be extractive, but they say from these community entrepreneurs that academia, you know, is a place that it is, that is not for them, you know, they are saying, we are fed up from you to come in and extracting our knowledge without considering us, you know. So every time that we go, you know, we are challenged with them, because, you know, there is sometimes this belief that the community entrepreneur from, let's say, from Rio, they haven't got agency, they haven't got power or voice, whereas these people have a big voice, and they will tell us, you know, that they say academia is very arrogant, you know, and they say it in our face. So for a reason, we had to develop these trusting relationships, and it's a give and take, you know, it's easy of saying, you know, it tries to build these trust relations in order that this project happens, you know. So they are not, you know, they are not simple actors, you know, they are powerful actors as well, that they have a voice and they will tell you if they are not happy with something, you know.
That's so interesting. I've got the academia is arrogant. That's something I've heard a lot of times as well. I don't know, Sebastián, you wanted to say something? Also,
I think that it's good to be arrogant in the academy. I think that it's different objectives, and the key is the complement in all the sense. I think that the academy must respond to the demand of the entrepreneurial community, and at the same time, it needs to update and promote the productive sector to improve their competitiveness, of course. But for example, today, work with artificial intelligence and sustainability production triple impact projects are case to the future of the production global, of course, but it happened with two logical movements. I think that the challenge is to open the articulation to work from the academic real cases. The cases, do you know, do you speak Juliana, are very interesting. But I think only the academy that solution for problems and improve the basic science. The change didn't happen. I think that both the both hands, the both legs are the development, the research. For example, the private sector are especially in science, in the application of science at her production, but didn't make research for the basic science and the philosophical science. Both are necessary for me.
Yes, that's right. It needs to be dynamic, that collaboration between philosophy and social things and academy and the private sectors. I understand it. Thank you, Sebastián. I don't know if Sara, you could, since we're like a little people here, maybe you could share with us your experience. That would be great.
I would be happy to. First off, I'm very honored to be here with you all. And I spend a lot of time really working, I mean, kind of not alone, but kind of doing your own thing in your silo. And not all the minds I have the privilege of interacting with are so regenerative and kind and thoughtful. And it's really a renewing process just to be in kind rooms where people are thinking about and regenerating real time. Because this is my conception as I've been working in this for some years. And it's not only the regeneration of the economy that we have to focus on, right? But it's the relationships. Like, because that's what's wrong. The extractive colonial thinking is exactly what's wrong. But when you look at the big monster, man, that thing's huge, right? So you're trying to like come up against this like really big culture of capitalism, extractive capitalism without social regard. And I spend a lot of times, okay, first, let me step back real quick because I don't want to take over, but I want to let you know what I'm doing because I'm so excited to be here and I think you're all really neat. And I've gone ahead and friended you all, and if that's forward, don't worry about it. But if you'd like to connect, I always like to be in touch with strong, awesome minds, not only thinking and talking about the revolution, but perpetuating it and inhabiting it and getting up thinking about how do we do the thing. And that's a lot of industries and a lot of things we're doing, but from finance to artisans to, okay, so these are the two big things, the value propositions that I'm presenting to investors. The big thing I do through Delta Rising Foundation is promote regenerative business models that are presented to investors who don't really care if they're regenerative. If they care, that's great. We prefer that. But there's this big motive force in the world of we want more money and we don't care how we get it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of awful. But how do I couple that with the regenerative things that I want to do in business? Because that's a motive force, right? It's just fuel. If you can return a 2x to a 12x, you have a set of investors who might be interested in that, depending on the industry. So I've got a sustainability architecture value proposition with engineers that I had the privilege of working with out of Stanford. We put together a project in January for Clean Climate Works, clean cooling competition, Climate Works, clean cooling competition. And it was really cool. And this is the coolest room because I spend a lot of time connecting academics and industry people and myself, who's kind of an unfunded but awesomely connected entrepreneur who's a designer. I want to think about these systems, but I want to build them. I don't want to just talk about them. I want them to get up. So the sustainability architecture bit, we have a new company that we're putting together the website and talent chains and funders for. And there's all these tailwinds. The IRA, there's state money, there's the Olympics are coming to LA. So cities will be spending money to upgrade their infrastructure. Now, what we do is we try to bring that to like, here's the design that your city can put in, your civic center can put in, your Inglewood monorail station can put in. But here's the thing. It collects solar, it collects water, it has a green roof, it increases evapotranspiration, it brings water to that local space. If you have enough of them, it can have an effect against the urban heat island. And it has a social purpose, social justice. Okay, the people on the California coast are going to be fine. They have multiple houses generally. But the people in East LA who commute and are on the buses that have no shelter at all, only like less than 25% of buses in LA have shelter, and they're gonna fry. And I'm like, we can do better. We can do better and train engineers and train interns like in architecture, in anthropology and design. And their talent is starting to come in on this value chain. And you can tell I'm excited because I nurture social enterprises, and the amount of time you put into them to get here is like, whoa. And the other thing I do is Indigenous-led, Indigenous-owned carbon, biodiversity, SDG, clean water chains, right? How can we fund the regeneration and the regeneration of forests and the regeneration of wildlands, but cut them in, make sure the dividends are going. So I meet weekly with Indigenous leaders and this really cool German guy, and they represent different tribes all around the world. And we're trying to come up with a model where, like, specifically the Mapuche in Chile and we're going to close, but I would love to continue the conversation. I think you're all so
thank you for your story. So exciting. I would like to know more about it. So
yeah,
thank you.
I will appreciate
A lot of energy.
speakers, Sebastián, Fernanda, and Juliana and Sara for being here. It was so nice to have you. And
thank you for the invitation.
We would love to continue a conversation. So keep in touch with Hecho por Nosotros and see you back at the big room.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
To the main session, okay?